My name is Ton. I've had a nice little break this afternoon, Fox. Not really, though, because I've been getting really stressed watching Mindfreak, to be honest with you. Because how did that even... Like, Ghost should have won 5-0, I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't know how the hell that game got to where it did, but we'll forget about it for now if we can, because we have a game here between Team Envy and Team Prismatic. As far as I'm aware, I've been told winner goes through, so... Let's get into it. It is going to be hard point on London Docks. I mean, we've got to favour Envy, surely. I mean, they got bodied by Unilad this morning, but still, in this matchup, we favor Envy, right? Yeah, you gotta favor Envy. This is the team coming from the Pro League, getting some of the best practice, whereas Prismatic, I mean, there's not a whole lot in their corner. It almost seems like, even if Envy has had like a couple of issues, I feel like they're not great at any one particular thing as a whole, like as a team. It seems like the individual players are all great at something, but it's never great at the same time. But still, the sheer talent lineup on Team EnVyUs should be enough to snuff out Team Prismatic pretty quickly here. In this hard point, I expect to see Hook, the nuke, and just body them, really just run straight through them, as well as in the CTF. And a lot of people have been talking about Decimate really struggling. We've seen that happen in the series against Unilad, but I don't want to put too much stock into it. I think it just shows where Envy are and where Unilad are. Unilad are top 6, teetering on top 4. They're in that area at the moment, and Envy really haven't been at the races a lot this year. They've had a couple of okay placements, but a couple of roster changes, maybe roster changes they didn't want to make coming in, and it's just not really worked out for them at all. But into this game, they have a pretty substantial lead while we're on East Road, and Classic starting to snap 7-3 out of him. A fairly decent streak down the right-hand side of the top right corner, 5-2, 3-1 from EnVyUs, having a good slaying game so far, and a really good game on the hardpoint score as well. And well, Ton, we're almost 2 minutes into this game, and Chino still hasn't died. He's sitting pretty in the hill, milking that hill time. He's someone that I think he averages like 110 seconds in hill per game or something like that in hardpoint. Something ridiculous and over the top. It's actually really bizarre how their stats line up when you take a look at it compared to their game mode win percentages. It's pretty odd. We can get into it another time. But basically, Chino being 5-0 right now, not out of his realm of possibilities. No, it's a really good start for him either way, but Decimate now quite happy to contest. They have a pretty good lead already, and the French team of Team Prismatic, you know, it's a tough group for them. Unilad and Envy are two teams that are going to be very, very difficult for them to beat. They really struggle against Unilad, but this is their big game. If they can do it here, they will be going through to Nationwide. But Chino looking to do it himself here. Not far off a couple of them streaks, and Will is trying to move through the middle of the map, and that's a gunfight Decimate never really should have won, to be honest with you, but he ends up doing so, and it's going to be a pretty big hard point for Envy. They get the majority of that 60. Yeah, over towards Barrels. Wireless tried to move through the middle of the map. Decimate moved through him, and so now we're seeing the rotation come through. Glide bombs raining down from the sky. Looks like Team EnVyUs wants to snatch that spawn right up out of Team Prismatic's clutches. But take a look at your mini map. Player 6. And player 8, Xerox and Tony J. I was just going to say they're close to the action. It looks like they might have gotten their spawns. They're taken down pretty quickly. Xerox still hanging in there, though. Chino eventually dies. 6-1 now, but a really good start from either way. I'm interested to see if he got fully streaked out. Can we have a quick check of that? If our observer can hear us. Yes, he did. So there you go. Fighter pilot and artillery is available. We'll stay with Chino, see what he can do with this STG on London Docks moving forward. Does have Hook causing damage in and around the hard point, though. Decimate following in behind. Hook gets a third. Classic cleans up in time. Although saying that, Xerox still available to help his team out, but they have spawned all the way on the other side of the map. Now it is just going to be a case of Xerox trying to cause some problems as the rotation towards Crane seems to be initiated here. Xerox eventually does go down, so the final amount of scrap probably going to go over to Envy. We'll see Prismatic are spawning there, the worst case scenario for them. The only guy that can really do anything towards Crane is Whalers, but saying that, they get the spawn at useless now, but all of the time going over to Envy. They have over a 100-point lead now, Fox. Yeah, massive lead. They can afford to miss out on this rotation here, get up all that scrap time and just break through. I think Envy is feeling pretty confident in their ability to just kind of barrel through whatever Team Prismatic sets up in their way. Hook, 14-8 at the moment, sitting on docks. We also got some guns firing down from the sky. That's Chino. Those streaks that he was playing so carefully for in the beginning of the game, he finally invests just the second one, his tier 3 streak. He's hopefully able to blow things out, but it looks like there's not a whole lot happening here. His Team Prismatic still continues to spawn up in the back. More scores should come in, trying to disrupt that. And it's just been a really great performance from Chino so far. 11-2, maybe not that many interactions, probably less than half of everybody else on the team. A minute and 40 in the hill, though. A really good AR performance. You want him posting up, sitting in the hill, soaking up that time, and just hitting long sights, and he's just doing that perfectly. He's one of these guys that you know, as the main AR, a couple of people wondered, he started doing it, being that guy mainly sitting in the hill. People question it like, why is Chino sitting in there? Should he not be holding spawn? Should he not be holding another angle? But he does it so well. He's only died 2 times. Yeah, okay, he's only got 15 interactions. Decimate's got 15 kills. But it doesn't matter because he's doing his job for EnVyUs, and you can tell that in the scoreline, 161-44. This is dominant so far from Team Envy.
Yeah, and see, Ton, I think a lot of it is the submachine guns just kind of pushing out, fanning out from these hills, keeping them away from Chino to where he could just sit in the hill. And the few unfortunate ones that do get close enough to the hill to be taken down by him just feed into his score streaks. So it's been a whole lot of that and a whole lot of nothing coming from the side of Prismatic.
Now, EnVyUs can do it against Prismatic, but we haven't really seen them do it against the top teams as of recent, have we? I mean, it's been a real problem for them, but going into this one, this is their important game. As Hook finds 3 somehow in the middle. TonyJS is there to answer back, but that's all he can do is get the kill and no more points because it is EnVyUs inside the point. And as said though, but EnVyUs really haven't excelled against the top competition so far, especially the past, what, 4 or 5 months? Yes, okay, they made some big changes, but really, they have not been at the races all year long. It will be a year of disappointment. I mean, that can be written off if they win champs, but they're really not within anybody's favorites. They still have to make sure they make it to nationwide. But right now, they're setting out a statement to Team Prismatic that they want to be there, and they're looking good for it as well.
I mean, really, this just shows the quality of the practice and the competition in the Call of Duty World League Global Pro League.
Yeah.
Like, Team EnVyUs is over here lifting heavyweights, while Team Prismatic, they've been outside the gym and can't even get in.
I've been outside
So
the
let
gym
go,
for a
you
long
know?
time, man. I've been outside. I need to get... There's too many events. I can't get routine. I'm just too busy, man. I'm too busy. I'm a busy guy. I can't help it. Chino's still at the back on another 7. He's 20-3. Made that 21-3. What a performance so far from Chino. Some would argue the lack of interactions isn't really that great, but still, 22-3 out of him is a substantial scoreline for him to have. Another streak for him on the board. 9 in a row. Chino putting on a clinic right now. They could actually end it on Warehouse if they get a good rotation.
Yeah, I think Team EnVyUs is pretty poised to end this game wherever they'd like at this point. The game is in their complete control. They dictate the flow of this map, and as we rotate, expect to see more of the same. Just Chino, 3 deaths? 3 deaths in how many minutes on this map?
He has 5 less deaths than Willers has kills right now. That's stupid. Hook trying to push inside, trying to get a hold of the Docks Warehouse. TonyJS is there to shut it down. Decimate maybe there to clean things up. Chino, 11 kills. Screw Decimate. Let's go with... Oh, well, there you go. Of course. Why wouldn't he die? Go back to Decimate. We'll go back to Decimate. It's fine. Anyway, on board with Classic, he does go down. Decimate inside the hill. The artillery is going to be called in by Chino. Gets 1. Doesn't get anything else. TonyJS is going to make his way in, but here we go. EnVyUs having another go at it. A couple of kills coming in for Team Prismatic here. This would be a substantial comeback if they can get this one, but right now, EnVyUs looking somewhat dominant. I'm going to pick up a few points here on Docks Warehouse if he kills Mars. Really good stuff by EnVy. They've got the side of spawns that they want as well. The rotation around the barrels should be good. They're looking solid here on map number 1.
Jeez, man. Ton, you
This
take a look at the kill column here on the scoreboard. If you add up Whalers and Xerox, they still don't have enough to surpass Chino. And we've been talking about Chino because of how few deaths he has. Hook has way more interactions and has already broken 30 before anybody can break 20 on the side of Prismatic.
It's just, I mean, what can you say in games like this? It just highlights the difference in class between these two, unfortunately, for the French side. It's really been a good performance from EnVyUs, and they've needed this, I feel. This is one of the performances coming in that it's a game they would expect to win, but they need a good performance, I feel, just to get some confidence going to nationwide, because, I mean, Unilight embarrassed them this morning. They made them look very silly, to be honest with you. Unilight looked awesome, but at the same time, Envy were really not at the races. Right now, though, they're about to 100-point club Team Prismatic. I doubt they'll get back into barrels. Hook's in the middle, trying to clean things up, just stopping them getting in. The only guy that can stop him is Classic. Nobody getting inside the hardpoint. Team EnVyUs aren't going to win it yet. I built it up and they spawned behind them.
Tony
God
came
damn it.
through and had just taken him out at the last second. But again, the rotation comes in just a few seconds. Hook also looks to be trying to close it out here. It's really just a matter of time. I mean, the inevitability. Take a look at the scoreboard. It's written all over the user interface of the Codcaster, the reasons why EnVyUs is going to close this game out. But I guess let's just go ahead and move on to the Search and Destroy. Search and Destroy is kind of where you can typically expect to see some surprises, maybe, right? You can see some surprises coming from maybe weaker teams. But even then, like, I got to say, it's really looking like the boys in blue are going to take over this series.
Well, you know, we were calling that Prismatic were about to get 100-point clubbed, and they've just rubbed it in our faces. The caster curse comes in. Yeah, they haven't even lost a point since we said that. I was closing out the game. I was just expecting it to end, but, you know, Prismatic could get some points on the board. I mean, it would still be it would be a miracle if they end up winning this one, but EnVyUs still only 2 points away. It does seem as if they're just going to concede that Envy, let them have the rest of the time. They're going to try and set up the statue. Well, with Whalers down this left-hand side, he does go down to Chino. Classic. Still looking for those final couple of ticks. That's a thing with Prismatic in this position. They literally can't give up any scrap whatsoever. We're going to move to statue. That's going to be a 250 to 124. Team EnVyUs with a real big statement in map number 1.
Right, it was just kind of the inevitability. It was written all over the game right there. As you can see, Team EnVyUs was just pulling away from this game from the very start. I mean, when we saw that they couldn't kill Chino until about 2.5 minutes into the game, and then he goes throughout most of that game just having about 3 deaths to his name, that's kind of ridiculous, right? Him and Hook approaching 30 kills before anybody on the side of Team Prismatic could get to 20. It was just them going through the basic fundamentals of hardpoint and gunning Prismatic at every opportunity.
And that seemed more like the Chino that we seen at the beginning of the year when we seen him in Dallas and New Orleans. You know, these first 2 events were, you know, Team Caliber that he was in, they looked unstoppable at times because, I don't know, they just ground out results. It was a crazy, crazy team. But either way, that's a really good start for Team EnVyUs. As I said, the winner of this series will be going through to the championship bracket. The loser will be going home. Valkyrie Search and Destroy will be coming up next. London Docks CTF. If we need them, we will see Valkyrie Hardpoint and London Docks Search and Destroy. Any thoughts when you look at the rest of the maps on this one? But I mean, I'm going to ask you for thoughts. But for me, after that first map, doesn't matter. I
just really feel like the last 2 might as well not be there. Team EnVyUs should be able to close this one out. I mean, Prismatic could definitely make things interesting in the Search and Destroy. I don't want to. That's always the question mark in a series, even if it seems straightforward, right? But Team EnVyUs, they come so prepared. These are guys that have been in this situation before, playing at COD Champs, and have done very well on an international level outside of those tournaments. I mean, really, let's just talk about the prestige of this tournament here, Ton. I mean, Team EnVyUs, this is an organization that has knocked these players on their current roster. Of course, this organization that has that championship under their belt, right? These guys, they want to come here and shoot for that first place spot. That's $600,000 split 4 ways. That's got to feel real good. They're fighting for it. This is just one of the stepping stones to get there.
Exactly, and one player that's had a lot of success with money and winning championships this year is indeed Chino. We've seen a fantastic map from him there in map number 1. A great AR performance, a great AR player who can play inside the hill, get that objective time. He's so unselfish, but a great shot as well. We've seen him at the beginning of the year, just... I mean, everybody knows Chino. He's been around for a while, but he really burst onto the scene, didn't he, at the beginning of the year? Nobody really expected that TK lineup to be as good as they were, and this guy is an epitomization of why that team was so good, just doing the right things that he needs to in game, just putting up the kills where they needed to as well, and it was a great start of the year for that TK squad, and they nearly had a really bad end here at Champs TK, of course, completely different roster, but after that S2 playoffs, they nearly went out yesterday, but they do advance onto the championship bracket. Envy are looking to try and get there with them.
An excellent pickup is Chino to Team EnVyUs. We took a quick look at him. Now let's take a look at Group F. You see Team EnVyUs in second place, just behind Unilateral. You said gave them a good smashing coming through this group.
Oh, yeah.
Not dropping a map. 9-0.
Oh, they railed them.
Squad there.
They railed them. Yeah. It was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, Unilad, one of the more pleasant surprises from the Call of Duty World War II season, top in this group. You got Team EnVyUs behind them, as I said, in this current matchup with Team Prismatic, who got a bit of a spanking in that hard point. It really was just Chino trying to create the most absurd stat line that he can.
Well, let's see if Prismatic can get back into this one in the Search and Destroy, though. It is going to be Valkyrie. It's a completely different map to what we played, a completely different mode. So let's see what they can do here. And I mean, this map's one of those, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because it's literally about maybe trading in and around the bomb sites, isn't it? It's trying to get that angle, try and get the first picks, things like that. It's an S&D game that's a little bit different from some of the other maps. So let's see what Prismatic can do on this one. I want to see if they maybe bring out Sniper against these guys, and see if they can bring something different to try and get a map on the board. But we're going to get into it. It's going to be Valkyrie, Search and Destroy, Prismatic against Envy. I said Envy with a 1-0 series lead right now. Winner goes to the championship bracket. Predictions of scoreline on this one, Fox? Any ideas? I mean, I know you'll lean to Envy.
A whole lot to a very little. I'm thinking Team EnVyUs should be very well prepared. They got their reps in the Pro League. You know, they paid their dues. They've gotten a whole lot of practice. Although they had a very passive performance statistically in the Pro League, they're still playing against the very, very best.
Well, it's momentarily a 3v2. EnVyUs with Hook, Decimate, and Classic alive. Tony JS now the only guy left on Prismatic, and there we go. We have the kill feed coming in. Do apologize about that, guys. It's just been a small glitch with the Codcaster this weekend, unfortunately, but we do get it up and running as soon as we can. Tony JS now in a 1 versus 3. This is going to be very difficult. A great start for Envy, though. Make the kills in the mid-map, and Tony JS is stuck in between a rock and a hard place right now. Classic should clean this one up. It does so. 1-0 to Envy.
It's a very swift round there. Just a couple formalities. And we saw some kills coming out of Team Prismatic early on. Could be a good sign. A little bit of some signs of life. They got to be going into this S&D completely shaking off that hard point. It's a completely different ball game. Slowed down the pace quite a bit for this game mode. So although they go down in that first round, it's their turn to take a crack at it on offense. The play they'll have to keep in mind, though, as you saw in that last round, was Classic, who found 3 kills.
Bar up for Classic. Let's see what he can do with that. But I think you're right. After that first hard point, when you get beat like that, and you see the enemy team having games like that where Chino put up some huge numbers, Hook had a great game as well, you've got to forget about it. That map is over and done with. Don't let it tilt you. There's still a potential 4 maps to play. You're still in the series. It's only map number 1. Prismatic can maybe get back into it, but not if Decimate is shooting like that. Tony J does go down. Hook not hitting his shots there. Bit of surprise as Mols does take him down. So 3 versus 3. Decimate in and around it, waiting for Mols to push. Chino's going to help him out with the kill on the Xerox, and Whalers don't line up on Chino. That guy is beaming right now, and Mols now inside the bomb site. Shouldn't be long left of this world, and Chino takes him down. 3 kills in a row.
So that round, Classic sitting at 3-0 with the bomb. He's kind of waiting for his team to pave the way to give him a plant, but they might not even have to do all that work. They should just be able to close the round out on their own without his score streaks. As you can see, Chino lining up several. He's almost halfway towards score streaks of his own. So it's really just Team EnVyUs playing a game of juggling their potential advantages right now.
Great stuff from Envy. Clinical so far in the search and destroy. Pretty similar to the start that we've seen in the hard point. You know, it's been lack of casualties on their side and a lot of casualties on the side of Prismatic so far. Been pretty clean rounds. NV2 to the gun, and it looks as if Prismatic are going to go for a B push this time round. Curious as where there's actually anybody there from Envy, and there isn't right now. You can see in the Codcaster in the top left corner. They can make that push if they want, but we do see Decimate making his move over. Classic's watching the cut, and you have to be so careful. These 2 guys pushing behind. Hook does get taken down, but did Chino slip the net? Did Whalers see him? The fact that he's staring towards mid-map makes me think he didn't. There you go. Chino gets run behind with the sniper, and this is a bad situation for Prismatic to be in.
Yeah, Mols is trapped. Chino's got a great line of sight here. Oh, he just slipped away as Chino gave away the cut. But that flank right there from Chino looks like it's going to spell disaster for them. Chino! Oh! Jump shot, take Tony J down. Bomb down on sight. Now Mols has to come all the way back for it. This is a disaster right now. Chino is just on a playground.
He's just having a laugh, isn't he? 5-1 out of Chino. Sniper in hand. You very well could give him the 6th of this game in a second. He's going to spot Mols. He dips away. Mols may well chase that kill, but let's be honest, Decimate should be there to clean it up, and he is. EnVyUs looking flawless right now in the search and destroy.
Yeah. You know what's really throwing me off about Team Envy is the fact that they're no longer Team EnVyUs. They've been Team EnVyUs for years. Like, I mean, remember just getting into esports, seeing Team EnVyUs.
I remember them way back in the day. Like, I was playing on game battles, and I used to see them on the other side of the ladder, obviously in the North American side, and I was like, wow, they've been around forever. And then Hastro and everything, I was like, wow, this is like, Hastro was an idol when you used to play game battles like back in the day, and now he's out there having kids and stuff, and it's like, it's crazy. Envy are huge now. It's massive.
And it's so great to see. I mean, of course, just a couple weeks ago, the organization changed the name. It's Clean Team Envy. But this organization just being around for so long in esports, and especially Call of Duty esports, building an awesome rivalry, just these organizations that grow up from this game. It's great to see.
They're definitely one of the more notable ones indeed. EnVyUs. Very successful, and we love to see that. We do indeed. Whalers now not loving to see that he has 3 members of EnVyUs running at him, and they're 4-0 down now.
All that history just hit him real fast.
Hit him real fast, real hard. Classic coming in with a round and he killed Cam here. And Whalers has been one of the players that's been in the French scene for quite some time now, of course, and he's been the standout member for a lot of that time as well. And he just can't seem to find... I want to say he can't seem to find the teammates. He's currently 1-4, but I don't want to place all the blame on everybody else. You know, it's just been difficult. Whalers has been that standout guy. He hasn't been that standout guy this weekend, though. They're staring down the barrel of elimination here. Envy looking so good in the search and destroy. But we need to see more of this from Envy against the top-tier teams. If we can see it, then we can see them maybe making a run here this weekend. Pretty active front line here from the side of Team Prismatic. We've got 3 players lined up towards B site
with that grenade coming out, that tells the rest of Team EnVyUs there's some action towards the B site. So you see player 8 coming over to meet player 7. That's classic to decimate. Playing defensively for Team EnVyUs. Seems like Team Prismatic isn't getting any kind of footing here. No utility coming out in their favor. They're just getting tagged up. Decimate coming through to finish the job. The double kill halts their push completely.
Book trying to end things now. Tony J does get a kill on the board here, but as he does run away, I have actually been informed that Prismatic are actually 0-2. Their teams did get mixed up on our graphic. Apologies for that one. So this game means nothing. EnVyUs are already in second place right now. But as said, it's one of those wins where they would like a comfortable one. Irrelevant, you know, the result doesn't really matter at this point now. Just to confirm that, guys, apologies about that one as Chino gets the final kill and makes it 5-0 to Team EnVyUs, the one up in the series. This score does not matter. EnVyUs have already locked in second behind Uniland. They will advance to Nationwide already. But realistically, we need to see a nice performance out of them. They need some confidence going into that winner's bracket. They're going to be going up against FaZe first. And FaZe have looked pretty nice so far this weekend.
Yeah, you can still keep your fingers warm, stay active. You know, it's COD champs. You want to kind of stay hot throughout the weekend. Yeah. Just kind of like Decimate, who has yet to die, and Chino, who might as well have not even died.
He hasn't died in this series, has he? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, barely. Let's see if he can continue that trend. But realistically, though, this is one of them ones. I was speaking to Wuskin, actually. They were playing against the other team in this one, which was Mentality, right? And they said we picked some of our bad maps because, you know, we just want to scrim against a semi-decent team, see how we can do on it. Okay. That may be the case here for Envy. And if that is the case, your bad maps are going pretty well so far. 5-0 to EnVyUs on the Search and Destroy. Classic's going to open up with another first blood. Decimate gets another. And you just feel as if the end is nigh for Prismatic in this map.
Yeah, that's really got to be it for them.
It's looking rough. It's looking slow.
No, it's not looking slow, though. Decimate, still deathless, 7-0 right now.
I mean, what do you say? I
he's
mean,
just having fun. That's what he's doing.
This is about to be a 6-0. That bomb is going down now. Whalers in a 1 versus 2.
He could use these score streaks.
I mean, he could. He probably doesn't need to be honest with you. Decimate looking for the...
Have a little fun. This is a week of business, but they're up 5-0. All right? They're locked in. They're good.
Decimate, 7-0. Will be looking for the 8, and he may just get it in a second if he isn't spotted by Will, as he is in Classic. Ends a perfect Search and Destroy from himself. A perfect Search and Destroy from Team Envy. 6-0, 2-0 up in the series now. They are cruising.
Gotta say, Ton, I'm feeling like the CTF is going to be more of the same. Team EnVyUs outclassing Team Prismatic towards the end of their day.
Yeah.
This is a set of seasoned veterans, fresh from the Pro League. It's really...
What can you say about it? You know what I mean? They're outclassing them completely, and there's not much else to say about it, to be honest with you, folks. It's as simple as that. Envy looks so strong here against Prismatic. It's rough for Prismatic because they've come here, and they were one of the teams that I thought, oh, you know, actually, they could do okay. Going against Envy, who have struggled a little bit through this year, you thought, that roster, you look at it, it's not too bad. They've got players who've been on this stage before. They've got players who can potentially cause upsets, but EnVyUs really shutting that down, and you know, they really didn't have a good time here, Prismatic, throughout the groups, throughout the weekend. But let's go for a quick commercial break. We'll be back with map number 3 just after this. welcome back to the Call of Duty World Championships 2018. My name is Tony. I'm here with Fox, and we've seen a dismantling of Team Prismatic so far from Envy, who've looked really good. They've looked a class above, and it's been not a fantastic spectacle, but it's been nice to watch Envy really put the afterburners on. They've looked so strong throughout this game.
It almost seems unnecessary.
Yeah,
it seems
like they're already dead.
They're just
leave
stop.
it.
You know when you give a dog a toy and it's a really you're like, oh, this is so cute, it makes a really funny noise. You love seeing them play with it. You come home from work and it's just destroyed in pieces everywhere. That's what this feels like right now. EnVyUs is just running through Prismatic and they seem so deflated. There's no energy. I mean, it's really just a one-sided affair.
And you got to feel for Prismatic in the sense that there's nothing to play for here as well. So that's definitely a factor, I would suppose. And I'll let the dog toy analogy slide for now. You won't get away with that the rest of the week. But the rest of the week, we're at the Nationwide Arena. I can't wait, Fox. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get there. 2 more games to cast here tonight, and we are off to go and look at the stage. I can't bloody wait. Anyway, back into this game. Team Envy looking to secure this one 3-0. If it's anything but 3-0, I will be shocked. The way they played so far, they have looked phenomenal against Team Prismatic. They really have outclassed them here. And I mean, is there any way back into this for Prismatic, do you think, Fox? Because I don't.
It's real easy to count them out. It really is. Flag's already out in the hands of Classic. He's got some support. Little bit of response from the middle of the map in the form of Whalers, but he's taken down just that quickly. And Hook the Nuke. This is how powerful. He's usually pretty powerful in CTF, dropping ridiculous KDs. In the previous event, he was around a 1.4. Expect to see him 1.4 all over Team Prismatic this map.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest with you. I'd expect maybe more than a 1.4 to be real with you. Chino's dropped about 16 so far on Prismatic, so it's been really rough for them. But Team EnVyUs do find themselves in the lead. Hook, another kill on the middle, but does get traded out by Whalers. Decimate looking for the shots on Tony J. Gets a couple, but not quite enough. Xerox is going to kill Chino down this left-hand side. Chino 1 and 2. That's probably the worst start we've seen for a while from him, and suddenly we do find Hook left alone to defend inside of fire, but Xerox is going to take him down, pushing forward. This is an opportunity here for Prismatic. They do find themselves 1 down. Envy is trying to defend here, but Prismatic are on the more preferred side. You know, if they can get things rolling, they could get a win under their belt. Yeah, Chino's going to find 2 though, but Mols is going to clean up. The grenade comes in from Hook. A big exchange between all these players. Hook eventually finds 2 though. Mols and Whalers go down. The map resets, and we can already see Decimate's off and running down through underground, and he may just be able to get a flagpole here.
Yep, Decimate slipping the net. He's just behind 2 players. I wonder if they're looking for him. Not anymore. They're down. He's able to take 1 down, looking for the second engagement. He wins both all on his own and comes out with the objective in hand. You see that yellow flag? Expected to meet the blue flag real soon. Envy should be up 2-0.
That's flag is well and truly gone, and they're keeping the pressure on here as well. And that's what we like to see from teams. You know, even if you've lost a flag, Prismatic have just lost that flag, they need to still slay out because Envy are keeping that pressure on. It's why trying to stay alive in CTF is such a big factor. We need teams to see. You see these amateur teams sometimes, you know, they run to try and get that flag back, but then they overextend for it. They lose map pressure that they could have built up after trying to build their way out of their spawn. Instead, they find themselves losing all that map pressure they tried to build out, and it just means flags start rolling, so you really have to make sure you get rid of everybody. It's really hard for Prismatic, though, when Envy are firing like this.
And see, we're spoiled to have that knowledge because we get to see the pro players play it. Pro players play it in the pro league.
It's quite a hard thing to say,
wow.
Right?
Serious alliteration right there. Whew, that was a whole lot.
Pro players play
in the pro league by the seashore. But Team EnVyUs, you know, they get to have these reps. Once again, I'm saying this because of how much they've been playing throughout Stage 1 and Stage 2 of the pro league, playing against the very best in the world. They understand how far they can push a play, right, to the very limit and get those rallies going.
Well, let's see if Prismatic can get anything going here. Xerox not in a bad spot to be pulling this, but EnVyUs' spawn at Useless will let them know that something maybe isn't right. Xerox is waterside. Chino is going to go down. Hook looking for Xerox, as is Decimate, and I don't think he's long for this world. Xerox now chasing shadows. Hook does take him down, then now here comes the map pressure from EnVyUs. They're going to push up Decimate now inside of barrels, and this is where they want to gain control. And it's when you're on this side, you want barrels control. When you're on the other side, you want fire control. And that's what Decimate's trying to fight for now. If they can get in and around there, it starts causing problems because you start getting sight lines on where the other team are spawning, and it just becomes so hard to defend. Here we go, Decimate now up in barrels. Does get taken down by Mols. Classic does get traded out by Tony J after taking Mols down, but Hook momentarily, the last guy alive in a 1v1 against Tony JS, just backs off, waits for his team to come up. Smart play by Hook.
Hook still alive in the enemy base. Whalers got quite a big pass to deal with. A 9-6 pass. Now 10-6 as he puts a bullet between his eyes. Headshot from Hook as he's still alive in the enemy base. Expect to see that flag pulled soon once he gets some blue arrows closer to him. Team Prismatic, they got 50 seconds left in this first half. You said they were on the better side, the more preferred side, and this is their first flag pull.
It's not been good so far for Prismatic. They got close a couple of times, but that's the first time they've got it out, and it's not a bad run. He's went through lights, but the flag has been pulled by Envy as well. Hook at 10 and 6 right now. 3 streak for him. Chino watching the cross, trying to get Tony J if he can, who just about escapes with his life, but he's the only one of Prismatic who do. And Classic hunts him down. That's another flag. EnVyUs 3-0. It could be 4. Here comes the rally. Is he going to get out of barrels here? Decimate. It's looking like he is. Yep, there's another one. 4-0 to Envy.
There's another one. I think we're going to be saying that quite a bit. Decimate putting another flag cap in for the team. They're now up 4-0. Expect to see that lead climb and climb like Hook's KD and CTF this event.
Yeah, a really good 3-piece there by Tony J actually to shut that down, but the damage is done. 4-0 at the half. Envy are really in cruise control here. Not really breaking a sweat. We haven't seen them go into 4th or 5th gear yet, to be honest with you. I feel it's just been a dominant performance so far. There's nothing really else to say about it. Very good from Envy.
So Team EnVyUs, let's talk about some of the things that might be looking out for in them this week for COD Champs. I think that something we should expect to see a lot of is Hook. Excellent survivability in a game mode like CTF. I think that we should expect to see that even in the more difficult matchups. He's someone that just knows how to play and value his life so well. That's one thing that stands out to me. I'm looking forward to see how Decimate does, and really his first shot being like in that professional scene at COD Champs. You know, how does his story progress from here?
We're going to need to see a lot more from them than we did when they played against Unilab before, though, because that's their first time we've seen this team this weekend against a top squad, and they really did struggle. I think it's going to be hard. I think FaZe is an easier game than Unilab for them, so it'll be an interesting series to see there when we do get to it. EnVyUs well in control of this half, though. Decimate now finding himself nearly fully streaked out. That flag has been pulled by Hook as well. Tony JS is the last guy to defend. Chino looking for the shots. Tony should be able to return that, and doesn't. Still inside of fire. Envy pushing forward. Tony does defend that one, and actually could be starting to work on some streaks if he gets that flag returned. I think somebody else did return it, but at this moment in time doesn't really matter. 4-0 to Team Envy, cruising as said.
Yeah, just kind of blazing through the map here. Just under 4 minutes left in this CTF. We saw what damage Team Envy was able to do in the first 5. Just imagine what they can do with just a couple score streaks at their disposal. You saw one just now, the glide bomb soaring through. A little bit of base defense. Chino looking for the wall bang as he's able to catch Mauls. And, I mean, this base is just impenetrable. I don't think that we're going to see Prismatic get through any time. Took them over 4 minutes in the first half to get their first flag pull. And that's just more onto the story of these Team Envy players, man. Like, these guys are storied for a reason. Hook, when he first got into the Call of Duty esports scene, he was nasty. He was a monster in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And returning to competitive play, we see how quick Envy is to pick him up, to guarantee that slot on the roster for him. And he's still here. You know, he's still holding on to this roster.
Yeah, he's been one of those players that has been a constant, I think, for Envy all the way through the year. And they just haven't been able to string it together, have they? I think that's the thing. You look at this team on paper, and they should do pretty well. But right now, I mean, they'd probably be only considered like a top 12 team, if anything. Would you even put them in your top 8? I mean, I'm thinking to myself, and
I think there's a lot of other teams in the way. I think that what we need more out of Team EnVyUs for them to be a real contender for that highest tier of professional teams is some consistency. Like I was saying earlier, I mean, of course, the display that you're seeing on screen for Team EnVyUs is just kind of background noise. These guys are really just blowing through them. This isn't exactly what I'm referring to, but it feels like these guys are all great at particular things, but not always things at the same time. And it's so crazy because of the big names and because of the big skills that these guys have and carry to a match.
As said, EnVyUs very well storied, and it'll be interesting to see what they do throughout the weekend. As said, FaZe will be their first game. They're on the side of the bracket that, I mean, as the bracket has shaped up, we'll see if we do have the graphic for you towards the end of the match. We might do. We'll definitely have it towards the end of the night anyway, as every slot does get filled. But one side of the bracket is significantly harder than one of the other. It's ridiculous. I think on one side you've got Luminosity, United, Red, Rise, and Unilad. I mean, what the hell? How has that happened? by the way.
I mean, I understand the joy of competition and the joy of of being the best, but when you actually get to that moment where you have to take down the best, it's real intimidating with all this money on the line too.
I mean, ultimately, you have to beat everyone to be the best, don't you? So all these teams have to go through the gauntlet. It's as simple as that. The losers bracket at some point is going to be stacked, and oh well, a couple of players have already, actually just Moles has left. He seems to have had enough, 1:25 to go. It's not really what you want to see from Prismatic. A miserable weekend for them, unfortunately, as Moles does leave the game, but EnVy cruising to a 3-0 series win here, and it's been one of the more convincing ones I've seen so far this weekend.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. And for me, as I said, EnVy aren't even one of the best teams here, I would say, at all.
Yeah, and that's just like, I feel like that's just an indicator of what happens when you're in the Pro League. This is just the making of, like, the Call of Duty World League's Global Pro League and the Pro Division in general just continues to breed some awesome talent. I mean, we see a player like Decimate on the side of Team EnVy. He came up from being this S&D star. He's the biggest question mark of a pickup onto this organization and has still come through to make such a difference. He's been awesome in S&D. He's been a difference maker in CTF. You got to have his name in your mouth if you're going to talk about Team EnVy. Keep wanting to call him Team EnVyUs, ton, but they are now Team EnVy. They changed the name. They shortened it. It's nice and sweet. Team EnVy.
Damn it,
nice
Astro. God damn it, Astro. Team EnVy now sailing away with the win here. Only 2 players left in the lobby from Team Prismatic, and I presume that's everybody shaking hands now as Classic staring into the wall here in the bridge interior. I wouldn't even have known what to call that. That's just the back spawn. And you got the useful thing to show where the player is in the top left corner. I use those callouts all the time because that's what everybody can relate to. They can see it.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Really easy indicator.
But I've never known what to say. So, bridge interior. Anyway,
8-0.
I lost my mind.